Hey everyone, I just want to spend a couple of minutes going over a few points about generation differences as we begin to look at this topic. Start with a couple of funny cartoons, talking about technology, because that's something I think that we always think about is technology and how that really differentiates us in terms of generations. From those that didn't have the technology growing up to those that do, it's a completely different world. And so I think sometimes it moves so rapidly too, and it really truly does define a generation. So I thought this was kind of funny. And then also I thought this one was kind of funny too, how we break down the generations. And the boomers say it was not the 60s, then it was the 60s, not like it was in the 60s, and now they're in their 60s. So it's all shaped around that. Gen Xers, always seen as kind of whine about millennials, whine about boomers. But then there was a plaid period where if you're a Gen Xer, you'll get that. But then the millennials, everything is defined by technology. And so I think that is kind of funny to look at when you think about how a phone can truly define a generation. But let's take a look at what we need to understand about these generation differences. For one thing, they reflect our worldview and how we see the world. And we'll talk about that more in just a second. And the goal is to create shared meaning related to this worldview, and that's our goal of communication. And so when we talk about generation differences, we're looking at that as kind of a filter, if you will. It's one thing that all the information has to filter through so that we can have understanding. No generation is better than another. There's always sometimes this kind of, millennials are terrible, boomers are, the ones who really do all the work. So there's this kind of win-lose deal, but really no one generation is better than another. And we don't really manage a generation in the workplace. We lead people. A lot of the times when I go out to talk to organizations, they always say, I need to understand how to manage this millennial. Well, you do it just like you do anyone else. How would you lead anybody else? It's just you have to tailor your leadership and communication to that person just like you would anyone else. If we look at generations, it's typically a group of people born and living at about the same time. That's how we define it. There's no set time frame to define a generation. And if you go out on the web, you'll see slightly different dates and names for each generation. But typically, it's just a group of people that were born during a collective period of time. And we have collective memories. Where we were when shapes who we are now. So the conditions, the events that you experienced during your formative years of about 10 to 13 define who you are and how you view the world. And that's critical to understanding our communication differences, because how someone in their 60s viewed the world at age 10 or 13 is very different than the way a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old views the world today. So whatever was happening during that time, politically, pop culture, within the home, within religion, that shapes the worldview, and that worldview then becomes your communication. So this is typical labelings, if you will, and years. Again, you're going to find slightly different variations, but within the workplace, we do still have veterans and what they call traditionalists. We have baby boomers, we have Gen Xers, we have the millennials, and then we have this new generation coming into the workplace called the I generation. So many different perspectives just based on when you were born are trying to work together. They all have different values, and I've put more kind of documentation about this out in Blackboard that you can take a look at. But typically, traditionalists are seen as rule followers, very focused on discipline and family, and they definitely trust the government. Baby boomers came about during a time of war, very much anti-war, anti-government, equal rights, and they want the personal gratification. Gen Xers were the first generation to want balance, to work so that you can live. It wasn't just all about work. The Gen X came about during a time of divorced families. A lot of them were latchkey kids. And so as they grew up and began going into the workforce, they really began to look for that work-life balance. And this was the first generation to try to do that. Millennials are so much more civic-minded, sociable, much more self-confident coming into the workplace, want to have fun, but at the same time want to achieve something great. Okay, so this is just some workplace characteristics. And again, I have also put a document out on Blackboard that goes into much more detail than this. But this can show you the perspective, which again influences the communication of a particular generation. So veterans' work is more of an obligation. It's something that you have to do. Very directive and commanding, much more value the individual perspective. Communication is more formal. No news is good news in terms of feedback, and really the experience is respected. So a veteran who's working in the organization wants you to understand that their institutional knowledge is important, and they want you to acknowledge that. Baby boomers came along and kind of introduced the term workaholic, work very efficiently, work to have quality, work's an exciting adventure for them. Lots of collegial. They say that baby boomers was a generation that invented meetings. And so if you hate meetings, then you have baby boomers to thank for that. Loves to have meetings. Likes to meet in person. Money, recognition, reward is very important. Needs to know they're valued and needed. And there's really very little work-life balance from that perspective. Gen X came across as very self-reliant. Again, grew up in a time of lots of scary things, AIDS, divorce, wealth, all of that came about in the 80s. And so this generation, again, was the first one to really look for balance in the workplace and balance in life and freedom and flexibility and that type of thing. They're very much an entrepreneur. You really saw with this generation kind of the takeoff of small business and things like that. And then Generation Y, which is what we're working towards getting into organizations now, multitasking. I mean, my goodness, this generation has grown up with so many things available at their fingertips. They like immediacy, so giving feedback, wanted at the push of a button, very meaningful work. Making sure that there's balance, work with other people, be creative. This generation, they're called millennials, Gen Y, they kind of get a bad rap as being kind of lazy or too focused on the fun or the social side of things. But this generation has so much to offer organizations in the way of creativity and new ways of thinking, but it is challenging organizations to have to do things a little bit differently. And as the I generation, which is the next one that we don't know a lot about right now, but when that generation comes into the workplace, they're definitely going to have to work towards making some changes to the way things are done. And also, too, the millennial and the I generation have to understand, too, that they have to adapt to some organizational norms. So that's where a lot of the conflict comes from, is that this newness from this millennial is pushing up against some very standard and ingrained cultural things about the organization, and you got to figure out who's going to give a little and who's going to get a little. And so that's where a lot of conversations I've had with leaders take place. So this is just an overview. Again, I'll be posting more information. I really like the generation differences because I think it really does explain a lot. I don't want to generalize, though. I know that some of you look at this and think, well, I'm a little bit of a Gen X, I'm a little bit of a Gen Y. I am. I was born in 1976, and so I am actually considered to be a cusper because I was born close to the end of Generation X and the beginning of Generation Y. So if you find yourself kind of in the middle, you may have been born during a generational shift, and so you do kind of see both perspectives of it. But anyway, I'll be posting more. You can use this information as you read through the documents, as you answer the questions for the assignments and work on the case studies. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thanks so much. Bye.